All right, welcome class. This is 1-5, Power of a Monomial. The learning intentions today are to be able to simplify problems containing exponents raised to other exponents using that Power of a Monomial rule. So let's get into it. All right, as we can see here, we have x to the fourth power raised to x to the third power, which means we have x to the fourth power 3 times. Knowing our product of powers property, when we multiply similar bases, you just add the exponents. So 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 12. Now today we are going to learn another way to get that answer using that power of a monomial rule. All right, so here we can see how to do this same problem using a power to a power or the power of a monomial rule. Same thing. So we have x to the fourth power raised to the third power. Well, 4 times 3 equals 12. So all you have to do to simplify a power raised to another power or an exponent raised to another exponent is multiply your exponents. Now, in these notes, they're going to try to show you that like 3 different ways. It's the same way over and over again. Every time you have an exponent to an exponent, just multiply them. All right. So best way to learn is by doing. So the rest of the notes are going to be examples. Let's just get straight into this one. We have w to the negative 5, all raised to the third power. So what we really have is w to the negative fifth power times 3. This will give us w to the negative 15 because 5 times 3 is 15. For this problem, you would not be done though. You have to go back to section 1-1, use that negative exponent rule, and get rid of that negative 15 and make it a positive by taking the inverse. Here is your completed answer. 1 over w to the 15th power. We simply just multiplied negative 5 by 3, and we got our new exponent. Let's take a look at the next one. All right, in case when I worked it out, it was a little too fast for you, here is the work that we just did on that last problem. Nice and neat. You can take a look at it at your own pace. All right, for this problem, I want you guys to do it on your own. So go ahead and pause the video at this time, and you are going to simplify n to the fourth power raised to the second power. All right, pause the video and answer it on your own. Yeah, you didn't pause the video, did you? You cheated. The answer is n to the eighth power, by the way, right? Because 4 times 2 equals 8, and that's all there is to it. On the next one, don't cheat, though. Pause it for real. All right, I'm going to go ahead and leave this information because the book gives it to you this way. But I am going to tell you, you do not need to write this. The law is the same. You are doing the same exact thing for this section. You are just multiplying exponents, all right? So read over this on your own, but please note, it's the same rule. You just multiply your exponents. All right, so here we have our final example, or another example finally. So, like I said, they try to teach it to you as if you have a different rule you are learning, but you are doing the same thing. You are multiplying the exponents by each other. So, you have to remember that if you see no exponent, it implies a 1. And then you are just left doing what we just did in the first example. 1 times 5 is 5. So the exponent on our 2 is now 2 to the 5th. 7 times 5 is 35. So x to the 35th power. 4 times 5 is 20. Y to the 20th power. All right. Now you are not done. You have to evaluate any number, coefficient or constant, with an exponent. You cannot leave that as 2 to the 5th. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, and finally times 2 is 32. So we are left with 32x to the 35 power times y to the 20th power. Yes, it's ugly. It's okay. Your answers can be ugly. We got to get used to that. It's going to be algebra. Once again, this is just a nice step-by-step of what we just did on the previous slide. So if you want, you can pause it here and really just take a look at what happened. All right, now this problem is for you guys. This is a check problem. So once again, pause it on your own. Try to get the answer. You'll see the answer in a second. All right, so this is a difficult one. If you had struggle solving this one on your own at home, please bring your notes to me and Miss Franklin. We can show you where you went wrong, if you went wrong at all. All right, so keep trying. All right, once again, this is where they're going to try to trick you, right? They're going to try to say, oh, the power of a quotient rule. Same rule. Just do the same thing. Multiply exponents by exponents. Even if those exponents look like a fraction, right? X to the 1 power times 5, x to the 5th. Y to the 1 power times 5, y to the 5th. Just multiply your exponents. Don't let their position or how it looks scare you. Multiply your exponents. All right, so here we have another example. And for this example, just like all the other ones, we are just multiplying our exponents times our exponents. You do need to remember though, if you do not see an exponent, it is the exponent of 1. So both of these coefficients have the exponent of 1. Now let's use that. 7 to the first power times 2 is 7 to the second power. X to the third power times 2 is x to the 6th. Or raised to the second power, I should say. 6 to the first power raised to the second power. 1 times 2, 6 to the second power. Y to the 5th power raised to the second power. 5 times 2, y to the 10th. Now, we are not done. Remember, when you have numbers with exponents, you have to evaluate. So 7 times 7, 49, x to the 6th. 6 times 6, 36, y 10. You're done. All we do is multiply our exponents, and then if we have numbers with exponents, you have to evaluate. That's it. All right, so once again here, we have the work that we just did on the last slide, laid out nice and neatly so you can see step by step. All right, so just take your time, pause the video, take a look at what we did. All right, so this is time for you guys to try to work on your own. Once again, this is a check problem. Try to simplify it on your own. Pause the video now, get the work done, resume the video, and see if your answer is correct. All right, hopefully you actually paused it. You didn't. I know you didn't. It's fine. But this is the answer, all right? This is what we would have gotten if you did the work. If you didn't do the work, or you did and you are seriously confused, bring this problem into me and Miss Franklin, and we will help you understand it, all right? All right, so this is the big one. This is an example that uses all of our laws of exponents. Every single law will be used here, all right? So let's tackle this right now. First, we're going to get rid of our negative exponent. To do that, you switch numerator and denominator, all right? So normally we would just bring a number down if it was in the numerator to the denominator, or vice versa. But because everything in the fraction is being raised to a negative exponent, you inverse everything in the fraction. So it now becomes 5r to the negative 2 times s all over 4r3 to the s to the 0 power. And all of that is now to the positive 2 power because we have inversed it, so we got rid of the negative. Now we're going to use our power of a monomial to multiply all of our exponents by 2. So 5 to the 1 power, 1 times 2 is 2. Negative 2 times 2 are to the negative 4. 1, remember, if you don't see an exponent, it's the exponent of 1. 1 times 2 is 2. All over 4 to the 2. R6. Now this is a trick, y'all. 0 times 2 is 0, so this stays s to the 0. We are not even close to done. Our 0 power rule is going to make sure this goes to 1, right? Our negative exponent rule causes us to bring this down. Now let's rewrite before we get too much going on. 5 squared, s squared, all over 4 squared, r to the 4th times r to the 6th. And that s went to 1, so we don't need to write it again. It goes away. Now we're still not done. We have to use our product rule for these two, right? R to the 4th power times R to the 6th power, we add those. That becomes R to the 10th power. Rewrite again. All right, we are so close to being done now. Last step, you need to evaluate your numbers. You cannot leave numbers with exponents. So 5 times 5 is 25, s squared, all over. 4 times 4 is 16, r to the 10th. This should be our simplified answer, and we should be done. Let's take a look at the next slide, and it should say it all for us. So as I said, this is the work we did on the previous slide, just neatly laid out for you with the powers that we used explained next to it. So once again, pause it, take a look at what we did, make sure you understand each step. All right, this is the final problem of the notes. If you can do this problem on your own, you are in very good shape for the test in 2 weeks. All right, so pause the video, use all of your laws of exponents, and try to solve this. Please come in with any questions you may have. Me and Ms. Franklin will help you. Have a good day.